holding here, we're holding Sifir Aleph, yeah? We're holding Sifir Aleph. The Nekuda is like this. The Rebbe is Mevar till now, the Sif Yud is basically, there's two in Yaram, the Rebbe speaks about till now. We have Bisman Moshe Rabbeinu. That was the maximum of the Indian of Mili Achisorin. The ultimate is this Galus HaKeser. So the Rebbe explains Sai, the Nesis HaKabbalah, was fara Madrege from was fara Dargen or the Kusat Meir given. Bisman, Bisman the Biran Shuz the way was Misad Moshe in the Darg of Keser. And how it's expressed in the Efen Biran Itzuzas there was there. There was Kuma Hashem, Yefutze Vecha, Nusum Sanecha. The Aaron had to go to the Midbar, had to go to be Mevatel the Klippis. And even after the Bittul HaKlippis, it wasn't a Bittul HaGambri, but it's an Efen of Yefutze Vecha. It doesn't say that there's no Vecha. There's a Vecha, but they're an Efen of Yefutze. That means they're in a state of Bittul. There's no Espashtus in the Vecha. But they're still in a Smakim to Amenagid. Because Mitzad the Darg of Keser, however high you're going to go, there's still a Smakim to Vel. There's still a Geder of Eilam, which is in Yonid Helen Vehester. And B'meile, and Mitzad the Geder of Eilam, there's in a Smakim for a Nigud. B'meile, there's only the Yefutze Vecha B'inusum Sanach. Then when you got B'mei Shloime Melech is the Tkufa of Ashirus. Ashirus is higher than the Melech Yisrael. And that's Erin Sof Shalamayla Mishaychas L'Ishtalshalos, Chinas Atik, and Lashon Kabbalah. And how did that express itself in the Efen HaBirur? That there was, first of all, there was no Tnua of Yitzia L'Makam Ha'yev. Shloime Melech, there was no, he didn't have to go fight anyone. The Chatchila was Shalim, the Menucha B'Shalim Ha'yev Yomah. The Chatchila, there was no need, even if there was a Menagid, theoretically, but there was no Tfisa Smakim. The Menagid didn't mean anything in order that he wasn't Tfisa Smakim by Shloime to be Machlish the Melucha in a way that he would have to go to fight it. But even more than that, it was Shalom Menucha. It means there was no Hava Mina B'chal to be Menagid, because that's Mitzad Darga B'Ein Sof Shemalim Shaychas L'Elam is before there's no Nisan Asmagam, before there's a concept of Elam. Mitzad that Darga, there's only Elikus, Ein Sof, the Eivish is Ein Sof, and the Zasart Ein Sof, which has no relation B'chal to Mitzad Elam. So Mitzad that Darga, Velt is bottle. Velt doesn't exist. So therefore, by Shloime it says Derech the way it was Mizbata B'Pashtus, that there was no Hava Mina to fight. There was no concept of nigud. You say there's a amlucha, and that's the matter of fact. He's the melech. No one even there's seheb tzichenstana havim, and maybe we should go be menaget to Shloime. There's his malchus, and that's it. There's no svara fakir. There's only Eitzaf. So there is no concept of a world. Mitzad the darga of Eitzaf shalmal mishachas leishtalshus. The whole mitzvah Elam is Teira mitzvah, but there's no mitzvah of a world which is Melosh Nehal V'Ester. Mitzvah, not that the world is bottle mitzvah Shloime. There is no concept of a world. In the Sof Shalom Mishayches L'Ishtalshus. So then in the Sif Yud, Chesed is the mile of Madregas Asher. As he stated in Ayin Beis, that L'Asher Love is going to be Pchinas Chesed, which is the mile from the Madrega of Asher. And in Eishis Kabbalah, the Rebbe brings the Lashon Rebbe Rashab is that it's what's for a darge that Meir Zayin L'Asher Love in Welt. It's Erin Sof Shenimtze Berad Lo. So the whole Arichas, the Rebbe is basically, the Maskana is what's the Knesh that he says Erin Sof Shenimtze Berad Lo. It doesn't just say Pnimius Atik. Erin Sof Shenimtze Berad Lo, so the Rebbe Nashvasid wants to be madgish that the Uft of L'Asher Lo is going to be his Galos Ha'etzim. Was hot mit davon? Erin Sof Shenimtze Berad Lo basically is that in the Erin Sof is the Iker in of Atik is Ein Sof, which is the Etzim, and Ein Sof Shenimtze Berad Lo is the Ein Sof Kamei Shehu Ba'atzmoseh. When we speak about the other dargas in Atik, the other Turation, Mis'alim and Misgala, that's the inside the way Shaychus to the way Shaychus to Gilui. Mis'alim is the darg of Etzim and Misgala is the darg of Gilui. And Masha'inkin Nimtza, which that goes on Reisha the Lois Yada, Insaf is in Reisha the Lois Yada. There's an Eifin of Nimtza, that means that their Insaf is Nimtza K'meishu Batzmasa. But the point is that the Ufta of Lasad Lavi is not another darg in Gilui, not another darg in the flow of Elokus. The level of godless Hashem, the level of the Ein Sof Elokus that was in Zgala till now, but in Zgala deeper Nekud of Ein Sof. More mufshet from Elamis, more afshat from Elamis. If it's just another degree in Ein Sof, Azevi Shloime Leumas Moshe Rabbeinu, which is a deeper darga of Ein Sof, a deeper darga of Blikvo, then it's on Nichol Nashiris. Then it's not L'mayla Madrega Soshe. That means that there's some chisarin in Vaset Mergam is Mash Shloime Melech. We want to say that the Uft of Lasad Lavi is Chesed is Bein Lani and Bein Lashirim, that even an Osher, which is the Tachlis Ashiros, the Rebbe Tachlis Ashiros says is the hechste certain Guluyim which are Shaykh L'mayla is Meir was Meir in that Zman, and after we can also be Zayin Nochecher, not an Azamas Eif and Nochecher, which is a Chisarin Bizman Shloime. Why? So that the Rebbe Shabbos is Miram is that it's in Sof Shnim Seberad Lo, which is then it's going to be Meir the Etzem. The Etzem is not another Dargin Giluyim. It's Sug Acher Legani. It's another Indian Gansi. That means there is Kaviyachol, the Ilu and the Aflo of Elokus, the mile of the Reichkeit, let's say, of the Eivishter, his Aflois, and that's Ein Sof Oblikvo, the qualities Kaviyachol, the ilui of the Metzias of Ein Sof. How high and great Ein Sof is at least machshav tfisabit. To the extent not that Keimar Chochma Ramav Amukah, the Yesham Asher V'Yadayim, that it's Bechlal not better as well as Zeklal. The Etzem is beyond the musik of ilui v'aflo. The Eibusher himself. The Etzem is not connected to any musik, to any type. Not a very exalted Indian. There's the Eibusher himself, which is beyond any definition, beyond any title, beyond any ilui v'shva. That's the Etzem. So that's the fact that such a shmerig when the Etzem by Shloime is not a chisar in his dargi. In Giluyim, when we're speaking about how floyous and the midas of the Eibusher, the maximum kaviyochel was kenis galaver. That was the Shirus in Shloime, Shirus mafloga. Lo'asad love is a different thing. It's Galas Etzem. It's a different story. The world's going to function the way it is inside the Etzem. That's a whole different meaning. That's the Rebbe spoken to Shiur. Now the question is, Azevi, the Rebbe, Madgaret business there. Sai was for a dargot mer given, and how it was expressed in the Eif and Bir Anitzutzes, in the Eif and Bir Amenagid. So there's the Rebbe is going to speak about Legabe Lo'asad love, b'shas the fact that it's going to be this Galas Etzem Lo'asad love. How is it going to affect in the Eif and Bir Anitzutzes? Lo'asad love. Le'umas the way it was Bisman Shloime. Plus it also again in first in Eishis HaKabbalah. And then the Rebbe says, Eishis are very betamsis, but this is the Kudasin. So the Rebbe doesn't hit on Azay. Uvar by Maamar, that day shall also love it Yam Shachman Primis Atik in Sof Shabbat Law, which is Lamaila Me'am Shachar Shaisi B'mei Shloime. Was it's a Ufton, so the Lashon of Maamar is that they say Yum Shachagili Lamatiyos. That's the first thing. The Parshat Dvarim is Bisman Shloime Melech. He brought at the beginning of the Maamar. When he started, the first thing the Rebbe brought when he brings the quotes in Beis, the Gabi Shloime Melech was that the Ufto of Shloime was that Mitzad the Geidel Ha'er, that was Meir Bisman Shloime, so Nisbaru the Nitzutzes Harachekim B'Yesef. He's the Mashal Derech Hanabuka. That Yazeh, the Teva Advarim is that a Nitzutz, which is Eish, a Nitzutz Shel Eish, is the Teva Meshicha to the Makar Eish, to Hanabuka. But if you have a small fire, a small lav, so it's only Meishach Nitzutzes that are still the Nekudas Ha'eish Behem, the element of fire is still Bechizuk. So they're drawn to the lav. Ash'egen Nitzutzes Shenisrach Kol Legam. Nitzutzes that were already dimmed. So that you need in a book of Gdela B'Yeser to revive or to bring out the horror element of Eish that's there. So the parsha of the Dvarim is every nivra shabbasim the nivra. Every nivra shabbalim has a mitzvah leki. They say parshas there's a kavana lekis in every mitzvah shabbalim. Every mitzvah has the possibility that you can use it out for the sake of the Eibishter. That's the mitzvah kedusha which every single nivra possesses. Every single nivra possesses a mitzvah leki. But you have nivraim that the fact that there's a shari is to use it for the Eibishter is more begilu, is more bizgalus. Lechem tsar ma'imachet. So it's davar bar that it's not for the sake of hana. It's just in order to keep a person strong. So the fact that you can use it l'shem shemayim, let's say, the nitzah leki is more bizgalus. But you have dvarim that the nitzah is nisrach kol legamri, or the way that he brings it in the Maamar. You have ummos and goyim and malchus, which are bechlal. The fact that they have shachas to lakus is bis almost mochletes. And it's the Geidel Ha'er that was Meir Bisman Shloime when at this pearl event even on the Nitzutzes Shenisrach B'Yesef. But he says, but still, even Bisman Shloime they weren't able to reach the Tachtin B'Yesef. Let's say to read. The Rebbe is not speaking about the Eif in this shlav, not the Eif in the way the Veltas is battle Gamri B'Mei Shloime. The shaila is the Erin Sof Mitzad Vasi Veltas battle Gabar because that Meir Gvin Chinas Atik Erin Sof Shemayim Meshachas Leishtalshlos. The shaila is so if you have let's say an Pnimi, let's say. By an Indian mukbal, so he's only able to be mayor in a place that is a keli for it, a seichel. So seichel could always nirgash in the mayah, or the lave, let's say, is a keli for seichel. But if a lower evarim, let's say, if a person understands that something is right, it's pale on his mayah, let's say, hachlata to go according to the way he understood is right. It's ladaf can be mashpi on his lave. If a person has an eis geidel the heart, so his maskona shibim mayah can have a shpa on his lave. But it should affect his Eivarim. The Alter Rebbe says that the Mayach is too movdal from being mashpi on the Eivarim. The Eivrei Ayad are not kalim to the Eir HaMayach. So if you have an Eir Mugbal, let's mitzad Eirin Sosh Ma'am Shachas Leishtasha, there's no necessity in the developed. But with Mash Shloime Melech, you want that in Elam Hazis on this battle very demanding. The Helam V'Ester are Elam Shegin this battle. Why is the Helam V'Ester in this battle with Man Shloime? Because that's Meir Eirin Sosh Ma'am Shachas Leishtasha. But the world is a keli to itself. That's you bring the other prat. That in a book of Gdeila, Eirin Sof is not Mugbal. So mitzad ein sof, there's no hagbala where he could be made. It's another point, and that's where the Rebbe starts off over here. You understand the meaning? We're not the mile of Losh the Rebbe Hiftan Reidin is not in the eichos bittul hamanagid. That's not what we're discussing because the bittul hamanagid is b'muchla mitzad zman shleim. The question is, in order for the vel to be taka in a way that there's no nisin asmakim to hate b'chalukus, no nisin zong the halva hester, that's mitzad ein sof. But in order for but the vel is the chishkin keli to etzalukus. Let's see if it's meir hasagas alukus. So if Meir Asagos Elokus, also a person which his name is Meir, God Hashem and his Meir, also will be in his battle, the Svaris in Seichel to be Menagid. But in order for Asagos Elokus to be a Meir, you have to be a Keli. Your Meir has to be a Keli to be able to grasp Asagos Elokus. The Uft of Ein Sof is that he's Ein Sof. Ein Sof has no limits, but Mela, there's no Akbala where he's Nimsha. He's Nimsha Bakal Makim, Leisa Sarpanim. Uftu is, but even when you're in social Mamash, there is Akbala Vur Kenzach Yeher and Vur Kenzach Nishteh. That's and the Uft of Loss Loving said this Galas Etzim. The Etzim is Amitis Ablikvol, which reaches everywhere. Everywhere as a Shaykh is the Etzim. Now we'll see. You heard the meaning. There's the first point. The Rebbe didn't go into. The Rebbe brought the mashal of that book. This prat, the Rebbe was ma'ilach more in the Maamar, how the Eifin bittel amenagid mitzat Ein Sof shmal mishach l'shtashlos. Since mitzat Ein Sof, there's no nissan smakim to Welt, so Welt is bottle gamri legabe Ein Sof. But the shayla is Ein Sof shmal mishach l'shtashlos existed in there was always Ein Sof even before Zman Shloime. But the Welt was still a menagid in Elam Hazeh because this air wasn't made in Welt. And now there's another question: how was that air made in Welt? How was that air how is that air effect that the world should be in a state behessen for that air? But Pashtus, in order for you have a hashpa, in order for the tachten to be functional according to the Inyan, it has to be a keli to the Inyan. So that Rebbe don't meirich in this Maamar so much this way. Rebbe just brings the mashal in the Siv Zayin, Rebbe brings the mashal of Habukah G'dayla, that the stronger the Habukah is, the stronger its effect is. Means even in Tzudish and Israch Kol Gamri, he's able to touch this. Since the air is not limited, so he reaches everywhere, even a tachten, even a mitzias, which mitzad it has no edelkeit in itself. It's not a keli telikus. Even so, it's blikvol this air. It's blikvol, so there's no definition of where it's nimshach. The same way it's a mitzvah ein sof. So it doesn't have a definition that it's only they say the stam just to use not as a mayach in but just use the mashal nefesh adam. Seichel is only a mayach is a keli to seichel. Let's say the leiv is not a keli to seichel, or the regel is not a keli to seichel. Foot can verstehen. Can gain. The foot is a keli for the keich halicha. Now, keich haseichel is a much more edeler keich. That the regel is not a keli to seichel. Levush haratzin, but ratzin is when a person wants something. The ratzin is nirgash ba'ali varim b'shav. It's not nirgash mainly in the mayach or mainly in the leiv. Ratzin is the klolos hanefesh is nimshach. Ratzin is not an air prati of the nefesh. If it's a davar prati, so it has a specific place. It has its what type of thing it is, and it's only shaykhis a certain place in the guf. Only the mayach which has the tchunis which makes it a keli to say. Ratzin is the pshitas nefesh being nimshach. If it's a pshitas nefesh, it can be nirgash everywhere. The more the Indian is not mugbal, the more it doesn't have this limit that it's only able to be nimshach on a kabel that has a shaykhis. It's ain't safe. If it's ain't safe, it doesn't have the akbal of makim. Good. It's not an even of kabbalah primis, but it's meir. It's able to affect everywhere. Doesn't need bittul. Say that's in the marsh. I'm just bringing out the Nekudas Abdugma that the more something is not mukbal, the more there's no hakbala, not only in its mahus, but where it reaches, where it's able to be nirgash. Something which is davar prati is only able to be nirgash in a keli, which is similar to it, which is a makabel for it. Mashek and Ratzin doesn't have that hakbala that is only able to be in meir and a aver, which is b'doime. Nothing's a dugma to the Ratzin, because every aver is davar prati and Ratzin's a keach klali. But because it's a keach klali, so he's b'shava, but he's b'shava everywhere. Nish das ret in the I'm just trying to bring out. But the Rebbe starts off speaking about the mile of Asad Lavi is in this prat. The Rebbe doesn't discuss Bardichas the Eifin how mitzat ein sof is mitzvah b'kol makom. Das ret in Nish da. I'm saying the Rebbe brings the marshal of the Abuki. The Rebbe doesn't discuss what's the pshat that ein sof is leisas kaponim in it. Steht noch Chassidus, and there's a Riches Chassidus about it, that mitzat ein sof, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that the musig of that he only is able to be in a place that suits him, that's a musig of Akbala. In Blig Vol, the Shachas is Amisrat Akdar. Whether we understand it or not, but in a dover which is blik vol is not shaykh to say that he's only able to be present on a darga of blik vol. He's not able to be in vol. He's ain't safe. If he's ain't safe, he's everywhere, and his Indian is able to affect everywhere.
You know, if it's premium,
not an Eifim premium. What does Eifim mean? In a way that the Tachton understands it. It's not chazach. He could be an Eifim premium because he's ain't safe, not because the Tachton is be'erich. No, but that's not. That's I just said this just to understand the hemshech advarim here. The Rebbe doesn't discuss this in this manner. I mean, that's any lots. I'm just bringing out the point. We'll see what's negate to the hemshech. I'm just trying to bring out what the first thing that it brings. But I read this in you before. When they were speaking about the mile of Shloime over Moshe Rabbeinu, we didn't discuss that Moshe Rabbeinu only needs tzutzis krevim. They never read this. When we start speaking, when they get to the uftu of Lasid Lavi, the first thing that what's bashtei to uftu of the mile of the fact that midas galsa etzem is idezeh yum shechagile lemata yosef. That's new in you. We'll see how it relates to this in you. So first he brings an Eishes Kabbalah. Isa beitz chayim. B'shabaliyas amachos is zayin madrigas. B'mei Shloime hoysa madriga avav. Ulo osi lo v'tei madriga zayin. In Lashon HaKabbalah, basically in every part of there's the Esses Firis. Cholis you have Chabad, Chagas, Nehiyah Malchus. But in every single part of you have all the 10 tenuas of the Esses Firis you have in every single part of. You have the Meichen Sheba Malchus, Midas Sheba Malchus. So everything that happens in this Elam is totally on in the Eifin, the way Malchus Lamaila is inspired. The way Malchus is affected by the Gilui, that's the Eifin, the way Lamata is going to be affected by the Gilui. So the Lashon HaKabbalah stated in Eitz Chaim that the Aliyah Bisman Shloime was till the Madrega Avav. The Aliyah, the Izgalus of Lukus and Malchus was till the Pchina Avav of Sfiras HaMalchus. That means till Pchina Sayisid of Sfiras HaMalchus. Mashiach in Malchus, in the lowest darga of Malchus, Pchina Azayid, there was no Gilui Lukus, there was no Ili, there was no Allah. But may that also affects the Meretvig and Nitzutzis in Welt, that Mitzad Zman Shloime only Nitzutzis are Shaykhis to a Bittul. Mashiach in Lasid Lavi, even Azalch and Nitzutzis that have not Shaykhis to Bittul are also going to be affected. That's the first thing. So the Rebbe starts touching up. What do we say? At Pashas you say there's, let's say, 7 madrigas. The Pashas is looking at the way he brings the Lashon HaKabbalah. There's 7 madrigas in Malchus. There's Chabad, Chagas, till Malchus, and then Malchus of Malchus. So it's a shaila of Kamus. Bisman Shloime Melech, the Gili only affected till the Pchinas HaYisod of Malchus. And Lashegan Lasid Lavi, another darga lower. So you have the way you learn the Medrash, the beginning was Lagani. That Avraham Avinu was Mamshach the first Rekiah, the second Rekiah, the third Rekiah, and then a Nachashlav Lider Rekiah. So there said the Mashma says Shloime Melech the Allah was till Pchinas Yisod Sheva Malchus. Lost will even Malchus Sheva Malchus. So Rebbe is going to bring out here that it's a fundamental difference, Pchinas Yisod Sheva Malchus or Pchinas Malchus Sheva Malchus. Which that's the key to understand the was Bashteit Aflo of Lost. So within that context, that's Zang Gringer to reden about when they get to this word of it itself being mashpeh everywhere. Within this context. Rebbe sagt das here. What were you holding? Oh. He said, the madrega of Hagili b'Malchus rak b'tesfir sheba, v'ad l'bchinas yisay sheba. But not in Malchus or Malchus. The Rebbe linked to, and this is negay for the order, to prepare for a certain kasha. Either is also a Gili in Malchus the Malchus, but that's only a Yidishnichula b'yisay sheba. But basically, the Nekudas Advarim is that the Halah, the Gili Elokus that was Nimshach Bizman Shloime Melech, was only Meir until the Darga of Yisay sheba Malchus. Which the Rebbe touches this. The Nekudas Advarim is Malchus the way is in a state of bittul. Malchus the way is in his own tzir, dort in Rit Nishtan, Erdin Sav Shema Mishach Tishtashlis. Only Malchus, the way Malchus relates and has a nekud of a tnu of Hergish HaMokir, a tnu of a Shaykhis Tam Elyon. We'll see the pratim why Mitzad. So here we're getting into this discussion. Mitzad Erdin Sav was matish good at business there. Mitzad Erdin Sav Shel Malam Mishaykhis Tishtashlis, even though there is Ein Sav in Embligvol, but and the Bittul Elmas starke Bittul Elmas, but wo can their line in? Where is Ein Sav Meir? Which place could is a makom where there he reaches? Where is he misfashing? So even though he's Ein Sof, on the Gabi Ein Sof, there's no gvul, but Afat became his only mayor in Malchus, the Malchus is a Shaykhis to Bittul. You say Shemalchus, there wasn't a touch up. Mashik in a Malchus Shemalchus, the Malchus is in his own tzir, not the way he's in the state of Bittul, Dort in Rit Nishtan Ein Sof. He's like a Bligvul. And Bligvul means that the definition of space, of having a certain keli, is not Shaykhis, the Gabi Ein Sof, the Gabi Bligvul. But Afat became, his Gili only reaches Malchus, the Malchus is a keli to an Indian Shilamai Leman. You get to what?
Why is it not a
Let's get into that. We'll see. But I understand what this means that it's only in Pchinas Yisay Malchus. We'll see. Let's see push it inside, and then we'll see. So das is when they get to the Eishes Kabbalah. Eishes Kabbalah it touches up in the Maamar that the Gilui Bisman Shloime was until Pchinas Yisay Malchus. Malchus Malchus, that means Malchus Kameishi Bim Kaim, and not the way Malchus is Shaykhis the Bittul, Not the way you say just a pashta zah, just a taichab. Everything's later, but just the taichab you shouldn't just be reading, just the Kabbalah. But if you have a regular case, a Talmud Varav. We'll see later, perhaps, the Malchus. I'm just saying in the simple case. You have a Talmud Varav. So as they state that called Talmud, B'shas is being mekabel from Divrei Rav, called Talmud, she says is made for Smer, so he's not a kid to the Kabbalah. B'shas is being mekabel. The Rav is the higher than the Darga of the Talmud. B'shas the Talmud is mekabel from Divrei Rav. So in that mode, he's not supposed to be in a mode. In order for it to be mekabel v'yazarches, and he's not the what's montzich is. He shouldn't be in a tnua that he's focused on his understanding. See, Erfa state whether what the Rav is saying is masim to his malach haseichel. At that moment, he's focused to hear what the Rav is saying. He's not munach in his own tzir. Then you have someone that's now concentrating and focusing. What's the Rav saying? Then there's another focus. Then when your mayach is in a state of focusing and concentrating what the Rav is saying, then it's not nirgash your malach haseichel. How you look at things. Now you're focused on, you're concentrated to hear vas erzov. You're in a state of bittul at that time. You're not munach in your tzir and your mahalach. You're in a bittul. You're focused on to hear what the Rav zok. Then there is the Talmud, the way not la'achiv says mekabel divrei Rav. He has to sit down and to process in his own as erz la'alim. He should process what the Rav is saying. He should understand it through his kelim, in his malach haseichel. Then is nirgash his mitzias. So we're saying is there's malchus. You say Malchus says the way malchus is in a tnu of bittul, not the way malchus is in his own tzir. So only when malchus is in a state of bittul, in that if an Erin Suf is made. So it doesn't mean Erin Suf is Ein Suf. It's not the pshat that malchus, the way it's in a state of bittul, is a keli Ein Suf. Malchus is a tzir prati. So we're dealing on with Ein Suf. We'll see the Hezbollah later. But even though we're dealing with an area which is Ein Suf, Afal became he's made in malchus only with malchus in the state of kabbalah, of bittul, of a keli. Mashaykin malchus, the way it's nirgash the tzir of malchus, dorten kommt der Stand Ein Suf. Dorten richt der Stand Ein Suf is much better. Yeah, I'm saying business there's been betecheni, yeah? Not clear. Mamshel by Maamar that this chilik in the base of das steht nicht rein. Auf dem sagt der Rebbe in ein Bay is that the chilik between die zwei aliyas, the malchus. Aliyah was Shloime, which is till the beginning of Yisayid the malchus, and aliyah zayin shti lost the malchus of malchus is not. That's also affects the benegeh to the nitzutzis involved. Who gam benegeh la nitzutzis shenaf l'lamata. That's the reason. So here the Rebbe starts off touching. It's not the pshat lower or higher. That's what it wants to bring out now. We want to bring out that it's certain types of nitzutzis could be affected by the nitzutzis shemal mashach v'dishtalshus. In order to affect another type of nitzutzis, which is the shade that has to do with zayin the malchus, you need the etzim. It's not a vert avaiter blikvol. You need the etzim. If it's just a vert of kamos noch nidriker, so they say it brings the mashal of the abuka. A smaller lahav is meishach stronger nitzutzis. The stronger the abuka is, it's meishach nitzutzis shenisrachku. Weiter nitzutzis. Noch ein zavet, and they gain weiter. So here the Rebbe wants to teach that it's not stam as a difference between another darga lower. Nitzutzis that were even distant in a lower way. It's a different sug in you. Let's see it here in the Rebbe. I'm going to from here. Here's a very important part. You say, what's the darga you say the malchus? You say the nukvu is skashas and makabel b'mashpia. Malchus the malchus over there klal keich apel shebinifal. How's the Rebbe teach here? There is malchus the malchus is keich apel shebinifal. You have Sfiras HaMalchus is the Mokir HaMahaves Ha'elim. That's Sfiras HaMalchus, different quality. So you have the Mokir, the way there's two efanim in the Mokir. You have the Mokir the way it is in a state of being Mekabel from the Ur Shalom Aliman. If you look at just Metzias Ha'elim, there's the Metzias Ha'belt, Praise Hashem, Rakia, V'aretz, people, Elonis and Smachim. Besides the Metzias, there's Gilei Lukusim Belt. Through Metzias Ha'elim, there's Gale Gvisin Yana from the Lukus. Because that's also Nimshach Ha'belt through Malchus. But that is the way Malchus is in a state of Kabbalah, to be Mekabel as also, it should be Nimshach through her, the Ur Shalom Aliyah. That's Malchus, the way that it's Natsir of being Mekabel from Zoh. Then there is Malchus as the Mokher of being Mahavat the Metzias Aval. Keich HaPel Sheb'nifal is, we learn Maamar Chafei. Keich HaPel Sheb'nifal means he's not Eisen to express himself. That's not the focus. He's Eisen that there's a Mahavat Zanyan. The person is going to throw a stone. The Tnu is not that the Ur HaNefesh should be Meir to a further place. The Tnu is to deal with this stone, that this stone should fly. That's Keich HaPel Sheb'nifal. What's the Malchus, the Indian of Malchus, the way it is, as not the Tnu of the Aliyah of Malchus. The Malchus is not Tnu of Ashpal Lamata. The Indian of Malchus is to be a Keich HaPel, to be a Keich to affect the Nifal. That's his Indian. Not that a Lekush Shal Nimshach Veren Sanidrik Platz. Fakir, to detach himself, so to speak, from the Indian of Gilei Lekus, and to be Mahava Mitzis. Keich HaPel B'Nifal. There's two different tenuas. There is Malchus as a mekabel, as the one that through Malchus is nimshach eir lekish shalamayla from the spirit shalamayla in Vel, and there's Malchus as the one that's mahavet the nifal. In Yana is uf machnaval. Two different in Yana. And so here this. So the was mazakt is that this lachin. This is an important point. It says v'lachin b'mei Shloime sheyil Malchus heirak b'darges ha-Malchus k'mei sheshayeches l'zah gam ha'elod ha'nitzutzis shnofel matis rak b'esem ha'nitzutzis sheshayachem lahargish eir leki. Ulo osid lo v'shagili yi gam b'darges ha-Malchus k'mei shebibya b'ad ha'kei chapel sheb'nifal gam ha'nitzutzis shnesrach kom mi-Malchus. The Rebbe started to say prat. But let me know if is that. Saying the Pashta Eifin. Yeah, we have a Metzias of Vel, that's the Metzias of Vel is Gvul, let's say. And the Eibishter is Bligvul. Or the Eibishter is Ein Sof. So these are two different things. A Nivra Mugbal with Ein Sof are two separate things. How is it that Ein Sof is made in Vel? Or what? Ein Sof is not Mugbal. In other words, you have a Davar Mugbal, let's say Seichel. Seichel Chatchila is only true within the realm of Seichel. The Eibishter is Ein Sof. So Mitzad Ein Sof, his inner can be expressed through anything. I bring a mashal. That brings the Gabi Chafat just to bring out this point. That brings the Gabi Chayel. That brings that it was recorded in Talmidei Baal Shem Tov between the Chaverim and the Alter Rebbe, between the other Talmidei Amagid and the Alter Rebbe. Sie haben gehalten, was davon b'maz b'lukus in Seichel. Seichel sagt Bob. And lukus is pshittis, lukus is Ein Sof. So one of the Biyurim, why do you need to have Seichel and Midas? Because it's true. It's a true tiny. The Eivish is Ein Sof. And Seichel and Midas is Verstand. Verstand is a Metzias Pratus in and of Tzir. The Eivish is Pshittis. In the Eivish with Mesiras Nefesh with Emunah, now it's Seichel. So one of the things Alter Rebbe says is that what's the word of if the Emunah and the Mesiras Nefesh doesn't affect the person's Seichel, that shows that his Emunah, his Mesiras Nefesh is Mugbal. What brings out the take if Habligval of the Neshama, that not only Siddha Emunah, but it also affects the Metzias, the Tzir. The fact that even in Seichel Lake Sechel Fidemis, that brings out the Bligvol of the Emunah. That ever brings such a beer. Remember such a beer in the Seichel of Chayel that ever brings us. That one of the, and that's not Uftat Alter Rebbe, but he brings that Etzim. So there's a Shayla L'chura, the Eibishter is Ein Sof, and the way to relate to the Eibishter, what's a Neshama? Neshama is a Emunah Mesiras Nefesh. Wo fällt rein Seichel Verstand dort? L'chura is never prati. The Teretz is, wie bringt Charetz the take of Bligvol of the Neshama, that even though there's a Metzias of Seichel, he's also affected by the Eir Neshama. And he devotes himself to the Eibishter. That brings out the Bligvol of the Neshama. What I'm saying is, Al doesn't speak about it when he gets, so a Seichel you can't say such a word. A person has a Svar. A Seichel is not Bligvol, it's limited. So Dortnuvu, a place where there's a Keli for Seichel, relates to Seichel. Mashik and a Makabo, which is not a Keli to Seichel, doesn't have it. In which is Bligvol, you say, and was Drikseches is Bligvol, that even in a Tachton which is far from him, even something which is a Chorem Mitzat Tzir of Agbala, I don't see a connection, I don't see a relation between this Mitzias and the Eir. After it became, it's at the Bligvol of the Eir, he reaches everywhere and affects everywhere. But what's the pshat? In order, you're saying it affects everywhere, you have to bring out that there's a connection between the Mekabel and the Eir. The connection is not in the fact that they relate, that they're both Gvol. The connection is that through this Mekabel, the Tzchareis bring is I'm Bligvol. You understand what I'm saying? It means, if you look at Seichel as an image for itself, does that have a shaykhs to Munah Mesiras Nefesh? Does it have the shaykhs to the Neshama of a Yid, which is ready to give it? So Mesiras Nefesh and Farneivish, there's no connection. This is Stamaz Akal Verstand, and this is a Munah in the Eivish, this is Mesiras Nefesh. If you look at Seichel just as a Metzias, there's no connection between. We were saying something else. There's an element of Seichel that it could bring out the Bligvol of the Neshama. We find that Seichel could be, not look at Seichel as a tzir for itself. Seichel as a way to bring out the Bligvol of the Neshama. In that light, the Neshama could be made in Seichel. So the Shaila is, according to that beer, what part of Seichel is being connected to the Neshama? The Metzias, the way Seichel is a Metzias of Natzmi, or the way Seichel is Tafel to a Harini? The way Seichel is Tafel to a Harini, not the way Seichel is a Metzias of Natzmi. You get what I'm saying?
So is it Seichel? So is it actual?
I'm saying that, and Pasha said about it. There's a function of learning Torah that's in Yiddishkeit. A person should also verstehen God is Hashem. What's the meaning of that? Since the Eivish is Pshittis, what's the chshivas that a person should learn and understand? So that brings out the takeoff of Hashem. That brings out the takeoff of a Yid, that even Kalter Seichel is also going to be devoted to the Eivish. But I'm saying is, with this beer, with what we have to link Seichel to the Ein Sof, to the Blikvot, to the Emunah of the Neshama. How do we link it? The tzir of seichel, the way it is an inyan for itself, that mode of seichel is connected to the bli gvul, or because we found a way that this mitzias also expresses Ein Sof. You understand what I'm saying? Ein Sof is bli gvul, and it reaches. What does it mean? It reaches everywhere. What does it mean that the Ein Sof is everywhere? That means mitzad the Ein Sof, everything could be used as an expression of it. Everything is really an expression of it. How is everything an expression? Because we can find in everything that there's a way where this thing expresses the bli gvul of the earth. But you look at the Mekabel, the way he is in his own tzir, his own mitzias, that has no connection to the bli gvul. There the bli gvul doesn't reach. You understand what I'm saying? The same way you understand the Padah. You have a Rav, which is, I'm trying to bring in the guy with the Muslim of Eirin Sof, the idea in general. What does the Rebbe bring? You have a Rav which has a seichel nifla b'yesef. You say a Talmud which is locked in his own way of looking at things, in his own malach seichel. So there's no way that he's going to be a keli the Kabbalah to hear this word. If he's ready, he's open to hear something new. He has a tnu of bittul. Kenes meir zaman din. So you have so with mitzad, what is this mekabel a keli for the Rav? Because he has a tnu of bittul with himself. He's ready to elevate himself to something higher. But if he's going to be in his own tzir, mitzad his own tzir, he'll be detached from the Rav. So there's the Rebbe saying mitzad all dargas of galuyim mitzayis for that. Mitzad Ein Sof, you could even be mekarev the vites devot kind of mekarev zan mit mitzad Ein Sof, mitzad but mitzad you're going to have to find the connection between the mitzias ha'olam to the That connection is going to have to be a musig of bittul, a certain musig of aliyah that you find in the nibra. You hear the Indian? Mitzad if would be mitzad eres, mitzad the dargam mugbeles. The Chatchila is only able to reach shechves in Elam HaYitzir. Midas the Zakr only in Elam HaYitzir. In Elam Hazak can not come in. Mitzad Ein Sof, even a nivra in Elam Hazak could express it. That's saying the Mashal of Amun. Dafke mitzad the take of the Neshama Vayid, even Skalta Seichel could become devoted to the Eibishter. Only something bli gvul has that to affect even Seichel. Means only the Ein Sof is able to find that even a nivra rachik b'yeser could express it, and could be a and we could use that nivra to bring out his bli gvul. But you can have to find a link between the nivra and the earth. But if a link means that you're finding some place in the nivra that is not totally a tzir of gvul, he could relate to bli gvul somehow. You understand what I'm saying? We have to find somewhere in the gvul, or in the, let's see, we're speaking about gvul and bli gvul. We have to find something in the mitzias of Welt that relates to an Eibishter. You could use zechveis ashtikol bread. You could use it in order to eat Hashem Shemayim. So you're not. What are you being? You're being mechaber the piece of bread. How are you being mechaber the piece of bread? Because you're using it. You're not looking at the piece of bread as just a piece of flour. It's a way in order for something mechazik as well. That's called what aspect of the nivra are you? Not what aspect. In what way are you connected to the nivra telegos? By taking it out of its own personal regular tzir and by making it a keli to a higher Indian. So it's machas not the way machas is in its own tzir. The machas is in a state of kabbalah of being a mekabel of zah. You heard the meaning. The ufla of Lasad Lavi is Svet Nizgale Verne Lekos, not through that that the Welt is going to become elevated. That the Metzias could be bottled to a Hecher Azah. Yet the Metzias would bleiben in Zain Tzir. A table, a chair, they're going to stay in there. You're not going to have to change how you view a table. That a table is not Stam Metzias of a table, it's a Chetim Zetulun. Table's a table. And that guf is Shaykhas Telukus. Without elevating it, so to speak. The way the Metzias is in its own tzir, and that guf is Shaykhas is the Eibush Azah. That's Dafki Mitzad. You get the general gist of the Indian. Avada Ein Sof is Ein Sof, and he's bli gvul. But since he's bli gvul, he reaches everywhere. But what's the pshat he reaches everywhere? Because he's bli gvul, there's no limit to what could express his Indian. His Indian can be expressed through anything. A davar mugbal is only able to be in dergash in a makom which is a keli for him. A mayach could be makabel seichel. Bli gvul, anything could express him. Because it's Ein Sof, anything could express him. But anything could express him. It means since he's now mugbal, any type of nivra could be used in order to bring out his taken, his air. But the only way to connect the nivra to him is by finding a connection between the nivra and him. But it means that seeing the nivra not in the light of stamazay, it's a piece of bread or it's a table. It's something which has some type of relation. Is a result of Ein Bli Gvul. You could bring out Eibush's Bli Gvul. Then you say, then there is the Metzias is bleibt in sein eigener Ziel. And we're not connecting it to the Eibishter through that we bring out that this thing is able to express somehow the Elyon. Exactly the way you see the Metzias Olam now. It's a table. And that's, there there's going to be a Lukas. That's Dafka Mitzad Eretz.
Seeing the Valavai in the Nivro.
Doesn't nicht what the Rebbe read, because that's not, you see, there's a Metzias table. Someone say, what's the gather of a table? Varavaya? That's not the gather of a table. That's the emes. The emes says that that's also looking at the Metzias in a way, the way the Metzias is bottled. The way we look at a table is a table. The truth is, Veret gemachter tish. No, not the I'm saying, who made the table? The Eibush had the Mashav. So one way of connecting the table to Lukus is, don't look at the table Stamas that it's a Metzias as like a Var Nazar. He was created by the Eibush. So you're being mavatal it. If you look at the table Stamas Eviatish, Hotanish Geshachas Lukus. A table is Stamas Eviatish as a Zach was Mashaving going from the Eibush. So you're connecting it to the Eibush. After they connect it. It's nicht Stamas Eviatish. It's Mashaving Gevarn. It's Mashaving Azach. With that, I can see that it can express the Lukus. But what the Rebbe wants to connection here is the table the way it's seen today in Elam Hazar. Frek Stamas Eviatish. Bezatish Adayim Stamas Eviatish table. There's no Indian. Stamas Eviatish. This, the looking at the table that way could also be. There also could a Lukus be Meir or not. Stamas Eviatish.
So the Alter Rebbe sees the Valavai in the Kreis.
That's nicht what the Rebbe read. Nicht what the Rebbe read. We'll see what the Rebbe read. That's what We'll see the Lashon inside. This is not so partial. I'm trying to tell you what's the pshat. That mitzat Erin Sof, it's only the Nivra the way is Shaykh the Hecheremi. The reason Lashon Nitzchayim that Lashman Shloime Melech was only Poil the Aliyah the Gilukus is Nimshach till the Darga Vav. Mashiach another level. Darga Vav is the Tachtin the way Shaykh to the Aliyah. Machos the way Shaykh to Zov. Machos is the Tachtin the way he is in his own tzir. Let's see the Lashon. Just see the Lashon again in the Maamar. This is. The Yisay the Nukfu who is Skashas am Kabel ba Mashpia. What's the Skashas am Kabel ba Mashpia? You have see the Zaktach in your days where we say I did the Tarid the Mivla Lepolit. Steht da sicher? Miflat Lepolit, but there's also I did the Mivla Lepolit. No, by a Gola, I think. That when you put the keli into the hot water, so Teza says a position where you have to take it out because then the keli is going to be belaya from the water. But Teza says that once the water is busy being belaya, the plate from the keli, it's not going to pale it into the keli, the belaya. No. I think it says that also. What I'm saying is that you have the Mekabal, the way he's in a state of Kabbalah now. He's not focused now on his own seer. He's now, you could use the Nivra as something which expresses something higher. And that was mentioned. Masheg Malchus the Malchus is what's Malchus the Malchus that are called is nicht der Nifal, not the Vialakush state in Eifen of expressing himself. Vialakush state in a true from Yerida. Mashpia is an Aval. Keich Apel benifal. What's the nyan of the Keich Apel? Uf Machan Anifal. So what's in other words Mitzad Malchus? What's a Rakia? A Rakia is a chetinza to bring out the Eivish just Keich, or we're eisen to make a Welt. Keich Apel benifal haste. His Skash them Kala Mashpia haste. That what's the Mitzvah of Welt in order to bring out Gadlus Hashem. Keich Apel benifal is in of serious Malchus as a mashpia, as in a true of Yerida. In Yana is as a verna Welt. And from that aspect, what's the mitzvah of Welt? A Welt. What's the Rakia? Not something which is created by the Eivisher. That's not the gather of Rakia. The Eivisher created should be a mitzvah of Rakia. It's a whole different mode. It's not another darga in Kamos. It's darga svav, nacha darga. It's a whole different Indian. There's with that klal, it's muchrach l'chol in Yisrael. That's the Rebbe say. Every ashpa cannot go without Yisrael. If you want to connect a Mekabel to a higher Indian, so the Mekabel has to be in a state of Kabbalah. He can't be monich in his own tzir. The Eibishter ain't safe. The Elam is gvul. Or Gilei Lukus and Helen V'Hester. How you can connect a Velt to Lukus? The Velt has to be in a state of bittul. The same way any Talmud has to be Kabbalah from the Rav, the Talmud has to be open to hear something new from the Rav. Every bleibt in sein tzir, but the bleibt in sein tzir. So what's the pshat? You could have a shpa, a Gilei Lukus and Velt, without Velt being in a Tnu of Aliyah. Zulachim. The Rebbe touches the way it is in you have to have the Verte though. It says b'meish tamashigil l'machos hayrak v'dargas l'machos v'shiyachos l'zo gam ha'lo da nitzutzes shenoflu l'mata v'yisarak b'esem ha'nitzutzes shayachim l'hargish ereliki. And this l'chara davar only nitzutzes say in the mashal. What's drawn to fire? When you have a stronger buka, it's meishich nitzutzes. But why is it meishich nitzutzes? It's meishich eir. It's meishich eish. So nitzutzes have a shaychus to eish. Nitzutzes have no shaychus to eish. So dust is not nimshach to fire. Fire is not keich hamshich to dust. Ein Sof is Ein Sof. But it's a certain inyan. It's it's gili. It has some type of definition. It's bleak volts, amitis Ein Sof. Epis it's like a visser inyan. It's Moishech anything that has a shaykhis to that inyan. Mitzad, because the Ein is Ein Sof, he could find the shaykhis in anything. But it has to be something, it's just begetted to find the shaykhis. If it's not shaykhis the hargish Eir Leki, so how is it going to be nimshach? Something which cannot be margish Eir Leki. So how is Eir Ein Sof, which in Yoni is Eir Ein Sof, how is that going to connect to this? How does that have to do with this nivra? If the nivra has no contact at all with Eir. So the Rebbe touches up. Lo asid lavi. What's going to be lo asid lavi? Shagili yegam bedargas malachas kameshi bibya. I mean, not the way malchus is in a state of being bottled to the gilui of us. Malchus the way is being mahava veld. Va'ad lekech hapoel shebenifal. So what's the zanyamol? So the Rebbe says, Gam ani tzuzah shenisrach komi malchus. Shalachein ein shayach mitzad atzam lahargish eir leki. He should be margish an inyan shalamayli men as in shaychus. The mitzias he cannot feel anything beyond it. Means Lee mean the marshal of Muna with Seichel. You say, if the Tamidi Abba Shem Tov geteinet, Seichel is Verstand. Was hat zu tun zu Muna? Through Seichel brings Charis to take a film. Yeah, but that's only if the Seichel is Shaykhis to bring out air. Through Seichel, come there can to take a film. What if you have a Stamas Yasvara? Nothing to do with Seichel Aliki. Stamas learn studieren in the Welt, right? That doesn't bring out the blik wolf in the sham. So there, the Eir and the Sham come to standard. So the Rebbe is mamshech. Not only nitzushin nisrachko, not only nitzutzis of head, not only that there is no gilul because in these nitzutzis. I feel like nitzutzis nisrachko kolkach achem atzvam nasu kumeira. Nasu kumeira. Before the kumeira wasn't made the Rebbe with Ra. There's the first target nitzutzis that there is no air. It's headed. You have a table. A table has not the table as not l'achar. We're going to bring out that the table is really the Eibush doesn't have the table. That's the table. The way he's connected to something higher. He has a creator, but looking at it as an entity in itself. There's a statish. So you could say something else. Vivach machan the table akeli telekus. Ares bring in that it's only a chetimtza to learn. That you're not being mechaber the table kamei b'tziyur lehu. So there's an element in the table that's tamam mitzias for natish. Can essence atish, not a chetimtza for learning. That's nitzutzah shenisrach kolegam, but it's not hepech. It's not that. That means not only that he's himself. You have a mitzias that he's himself. You ask him, is there an eibush there? It's not a part of the equation. He's himself. He's a table. He's a chair. That's nitzutzah shenisrach kolegamri, and not shaychus lagish. That's another thing. In Yoni is fakert. In Yoni is that there's his mitzias. He's menaget telebus. That's nasu kumeira. Nitzutzah, the nitzutzah himself. A mitzvah which says aniva avsei is only me and something which is machish and the is klippus. That's kind of just oliver. But there are nitzutzis and israchu to the extent of that. Not only that there's a header, that they're not shaykhis to give the key. In Yonam is to be menaget telikus. This is the nitzutzis which are invested in klippus. That's nasu kameira. That's klippus namish. There's the nitzutzis which exist in these days. So they're also nasu kameira. There is out there the dugmas and nitzel key, but it was nechshach legamri, and to the extent that he's mahava mitzias, not only was in herzach nishtalikus, and he's nishayches beim herzach likus. The first argument is that there's zero contact to the Eibishter. Then there is in Yoni is, but zero contact means etrachnish like the Eibishter. So that's mitzias. So he's in. Then there is in Yoni is to deny an alien. That's right. No, that's out there. The clip itself is an isser. Das is heipach ratzon alien. That's kenish salver. But there's the nitzutzis of the klippus that's kenyan salver. But the Chassidus brings, the Rebbe Shah brings this actually. The Chassidus brings the dogma of also from here that you learn chticha nas nevela. What's the chticha nas nevela? So you have stamazeh chtichas basar shchota is not asr. It's heter. Chaylev is asr. But if you have a tipas chaylev shenafla lechaticha and there's no shishim de chaticha, so it becomes next time becomes asr. Then how much do you need in the but how much do you need in the then this chaticha falls into another tarvis? Wie viel darf man mishishim against the tipas chaylev that fell into the chaticha or against the whole chaticha? Not going to test you. the Rambam has the whole Chet is machlekes, but the certain things is deraisa, certain things derabanan. But mit afram kegen the ganze chaticha. That's chaticha nasan levela. But etzem the chaticha is heter, shchut is heter. But because he became a carrier to Isser, so is nasik. He has the same din of Isser.
What's the difference of Maamar?
No, so there's nitzutzis, but etzem it's nitzalaki. So etzem husi it's kedusha, but he became a mocker. He became the sibas hamitzias of Ra. I'm not saying, but he's not Ra. He's not nasik kemeira. His whole, then it's a nitzalaki, which kol inyani is ufhatna klippe. So he identifies himself, so to speak, with the klippe. You see, how do you understand chticha nasan levela b'chlal?
Consider it as an Isur.
I understand, but the shchut is heter. Why do you have to battle the plate of the heter? Good. The stav musik. If this chaticha carries the iser, is a take shenish. You're not an innocent chaticha anymore. The fact that you have a chaticha heter that every dervis halter iser is a problem. It's also ba'achila.
Why in the Vedic stuff you're not able to bring up and the chaticha becomes?
No, because that's hepech ratzon. That's your question. That's the Rebbe speaks in the sikha. That's shenana echad nishmet. That's a besandish. I'm saying anything which is hepech ratzon can be ma'ila, which is an iser and Torah. So the Eibushat nish gewollt die Sachen, it's hepech holocaust. That's another discussion. I think I'm asking something else. That's not a shayla. That's a different shayla. That's in the sikha for nothing. I thought you're asking something else. They're asking what's the difference between tzitzis and you're asking why this you could be ma'ila, why this you can't be ma'ila. That's your question. Okay, that's not a shayla. Yeah. But you see what they're saying here. Gam heim is ali b'yochel b'kedusha. V'yiserim is not only nitzutzis, gam agashmi atzmi. Leira kan nitzutz shebei, the gashmi itself. Means not an inin alaki, not an inin alaki. Nitzutz sof kol sof, they're be'etzim inin alaki that they were yeded to such an extent that they're nisrachet the gami b'shoshin. Atishalim. You see, it's the hepi. This is what I say. From Mitzvah Mitzvah, it doesn't need the word to the Rebbe Mitzvah Mitzvah. They were saying Mitzvah Mitzvah is already a certain inyan that the Gashmi expresses. They were saying is the physical being itself. A shtickle doim. How could you? What is without it? You one way because I can connect it to the Eibusher. I'm going to find that this could serve a certain inyan. Then you're not connecting the Gashmi Atzmi. Gashmi is not about an inyan. Gashmi is a physical piece of matter. If you're saying it could serve an inyan, you're already a content to this Gashmi. So you're connecting this Gashmi as a levush, a certain inyan does come in Mechaber and the but the mitzvah of Gashmi itself. And the Rebbe says, not stamel, ye betachlis hayes achtos balakus. Ultimate one is with the Eibusher. Ich gepash the Werte. Da steht nicht nein die Werte. Listen what the Rebbe says. This is the line that's an important line. This is Zeh shagashmi yaz betachlis hayes achtos holoi rekomendation ozi is gal lekeicha lekisha v'shahavei ismayim liyesh. That's he asked before. Not because he's been this God, but what's the pshat? The fact that the Nivra Gashmi located Telikus is because it's Vetnes Galaver, but Etzem the Gashmi doesn't exist. But Etzem the Gashmi is Ayin Ve'efes. And his home is the Keich HaPel B'Nifal. Then how are you connecting the Gashmi to the Eibusher? Because Gashmi is connected to the Eibusher, or because Be'etzem it doesn't exist? You're being Mevatel. Saying Be'etzem it doesn't exist. Its home is the Keich HaPel. So at the end of the day, you're being kasha to Lukus by making it a kid of the Kabbalah, by being mavatal, not the way it is in his own tzir. Gashmi, the way we experience it. It's Hagdarasi is a nivra of the Eibusher, or it's a mitzvah table at Shiur. You walk on earth. I'm saying a table, a davar Gashmi. Nothing. Any time you're being miyachad it, because that's what I say. You're saying from Tzism Atzmusay, the Seich does. The regular system is we find a certain trait in Elam Hazeh, certain tnua that it's margish itself, that it also came from whatever the biurim are, a certain trait that is a dugma to Atzmos. That's not the gather of Gashmi. Gashmi is a thing, not an inyan, not a concept. A physical thing that you can touch. A concept that's not Gashmi Atzmi. If the way we're going to connect the Gashmi to the Lukus is, because we're going to find a certain trait in the Gashmi that reminds us of the Eibush there, that means the Indian, the way it is in its own seer, the way it is in its own, from its own point of view, the way it experiences itself, you can't connect it to the Eibusher. The Gashmi itself, this physical piece of matter itself, is he one with the Eibusher or not? See, water itself is not one with the Eibusher. Water as a bit of chesed, it brings out a certain musika bashpa. So you're connecting water through mixing in that water represents a certain inyan, not the Geshem itself.
Could the Gila applicable affect the Gashmi because of that Indian?
How could it affect mitzad the fact that mine is chesed?
Yeah.
Not mitzad gashmi atzmi.
Yeah.
Eretz Sav is the Eretz Ein Sav is able to read anything, could express it. He could be expressed through everything, but he's a certain content, a certain Indian. So if you're saying that he reaches everywhere, that means that the everywhere relates to that Indian. Any Indian which has a certain hagdara. So if you're saying that he reaches everywhere, the definition is going to be that everywhere could express it, could be behesim with him. But if he's not, so you're going to have to look at the tachton in a certain mode. You get the nivra, the mode of being a makabel of that Indian. From that aspect, we connect him to the Eibishter. But the nivra, the way he is in his own tzir. You understand what I'm saying? If I did I just want to bring out this point, a simple thing. You say that you're saying before Mitzvah Matzmuseh. You look at a table, you see Mitzvah Matzmuseh. What's a table itself? What's a davar gashmi? A thing, matter, not a concept. You say, how could you connect? How is matter one with Eibishter? You say he created it. He created it means that you think you just see matter here. There's another aspect that you're missing. It was created. Once you bring in the fact that it's a creature, it was created, and there's a creator. But the musik of matter itself, it's not a part of its ingredient that it's a creature. The matter kameshu, the way it is, the way you experience it, as a thing. That mode itself, could you connect to the Eibishter or not? Is it not only connect? Is it one with the Eibishter or not?
Is it because there's an Indian and a key and everything, or is it because everything has a certain?
You're asking what's the beer?
The beer
or
by
why not?
The beer by.
Why not?
Is it because everything has an Indian and a key? There's some Indian. It's Megala.
Oh, I'm saying because the air you can't connect an alien to a tachton. You could only connect two things if there's a connection. So the air is ain't safe. The air has a certain message. You have to say this tachton also relates to that message.
Is that message a message that's like a
In the Laki, Avada, in the Laki. What's the question? We're dealing with air safe. But I'm trying to be not here. What I'm trying to bring out. I'm trying to say is if there's a certain element, a certain message. See, this message could reach everywhere. What does it mean it could reach everywhere? It means everything could bring out this message. Everything could serve to this message. What about something that has no connection to messages? You cannot connect it. So that aspect of it, you can't connect it. You understand what I'm saying? The Rebbe is saying, the Vart is, it's not the pshat that we're going to see another element in the Gashmi that we're not aware of now. Oh, you look at the Vel Stamaz Yiseva, but it's a creature before. As a creature, so as a creator, once you see that this thing is not just a thing for itself, but as a creator, I could find now a link to the Eibishter. Think the Gashmi is me exactly the way it is now, a piece of matter, and the matter kameishu tachlis as after the lukus. What I'm saying is, you say you have a person. You see, one way of connecting the person to the Eibishter is one way of connecting something is. I'm trying to find a good dogma, but. And I'm saying even the way we look at I'm using the dogma of Seichel and Munah because it brings out a little bit this. The Rebbe is masber in a Sikha this word. If the one way of explaining the Chura Seichel, you say the Neshama is pshitus, the Neshama is ruchnis. Where does Seichel fall into the picture? That brings out the blik of the Neshama. So then, what do you need Seichel for? Seichel itself is not part of the Indian because Seichel is a way to bring out the blik of the Neshama. But Seichel itself is not an Indian. What the Rebbe is saying here is Seichel itself exactly the way you understood was Seichel. Don't connect Seichel to Blikvol. Seichel Kameshu. Not Seichel. You linked, you found the way that Seichel could express Blikvol. Look at Seichel the way it is as the thing for itself. The ability to understand. Is that one with the Eibishter or not? So how is that one with the Yid? A Yid's Mesiris Nefesh. Das ist Tam Verstand. Das hat sich so. If I push the Scheide. How could you connect Seichel to Neshama? The Teretz is Seichel could be something which brings on the take of a Neshama. But now you the only way you're mechaber seichel is you mixed in another aspect, not just seichel itself. Seichel is also a keli the kabbalah temun, but seichel the way it is in its own mitzvahs, verstand. It does ein zach mit Eibishter. That the also the ufta is going to be that itself is one with the Eibishter. It's a whole different union. I understand what the hezbollah is, but this is the. I had to go a little earlier today. We'll do the Vatam L'Chozeh. Maher Tabas Al-Dominion. Should we do the Tam? The Elam, the Herd Good, what the Nikud is? Because the Nikud has to be very clear. Because if not, you're not going to appreciate how it's going to be affected. But I'm saying, you have to understand how this Indian, mitzad, the regular Hashpa, Me'elim L'Tachtan, even if the Elim is Blik Vol, as that Indian can reside. Because by definition, if there's an alien that has some type of mode, and you want to connect the tachtin to that alien, by definition, the Tachten K'meishu Tachten has no connection to the other. I'm saying the Dugma of Seichel and Emunah. How are you going to connect the power to understand with Neshama V'Yidam Mesiras Nefesh? Viva Esres Mazbazah. You're going to have to say somewhere that through Seichel I could have it connects to Mesiras Nefesh. But don't make Mesiras Nefesh your Seichel itself. Is that in Eliki? What does Seichel to do with the Nebish with Emunah Mesiras Nefesh? What I'm saying is, Bizman Shloime Melech, Stamazeh, we can, everything was, it was Nizgal and everything that really, nothing is just the way it looks. Truth is, everything is connected to Hamakir. You see a Welt, it's not Stam Welt, it's a Welt that Ebi Shor Bashach. The Reish is Bar Elikim. The Keichab, you see a Nifal over here, there's no Nifal. There's an Ebi Shor created this Nifal. From the world as a creation, so then it's linked to a creator. But we experience the world not as something that has the truth is that there's a creator. We're talking about what type of mitzias is it? How do we experience mitzias? That it's a result of an Eivishter or it's a mitzias. There's a table, it's a chair, a davar gashmi. Is that this Atos Dolukus or not? The Uftu Lashon Lavi is that not Malchus, not the Dargavah, not the way Malchus is a Keli Lekabbalah, not the way Malchus is Shayches to Makir. The way Malchus is in his own tzir. Means the way the Nivra is, the Gashmi is not, this word doesn't say before Shnayim Beis, this word by the way. But the Rebbe says here that Hagashmi Atzmi Yeh B'Tachas Achtos Lo Yirdak Mipnei She'oz Yizgal L'Keichel L'Kishibar. Not because there'll be Nizgal, there's a Mahaver. So how are you linking the Tachton to Lukus? Because really this Tachton is a Makabel. The Gashmi is not a Messias for itself. It's really it's something which is created. It means it has a creator. But Uftu is Gama Nifal Atzmi. The mode of the Tachton, the way he is in his own seer. And that's going to be B'Tachlis Hais Achtos. B'Tachlis Hais Achtos means not just we're going to find it. It's going to be fully one. Ultimate, how you say B'Tachlis? Absolutely one with the Eibishter.
But that same concern is also in every other dark, yeah? The same concern that we of Mitzad Air, that's not Mitzad Ilim, Mitzad Atzmi, is only because the alien is being connected to that's in every dark.
Dark is it? Verkehrt. Even in Ein Sof, the Uftu of Ein Sof is that since he's Blik Vol, anything could express him. That's something else. I'm saying that's the Mashal of Amunah. Because Mitzad Teikef Amunah, Mitzad Teikef Neshama, he's able to affect Seichel too. He's not Mugbal. He's not Mugbal, but what's the pshat? He's not Mugbal. So his Inyan could be everywhere. What does it mean his Inyan could be everywhere? Amunah can be found everywhere. That means you could link everything with Amunah. Here's everything, not you can link everything with a higher Inyan. Everything will stay in its own phase exactly the way it is. And that gufa is B'Tachas Hais Achtos Dolukus.
Are you able to show a yachas between Ern Seif and Shlosh K'Tzatmeis?
No, that's a besonder shmuz.
Not all Shlosh K'Tzatmeis.
No, the Shlosh is a different story. Klippus itself is a different Indian. They speak like the Nitzutah Shmuz Klippus. That's a besonder shmuz. It's not a get to this. It's a separate Indian. The whole whether you can be mad at Klippus or not. It's a different topic. And it's nothing to do with this saying it's a side to Kashayla.
Just trying to understand, is that only the difference between Kol Dechach Dei Kol Ma'aseh Shemaim, or
No, it's nothing to do with this Indian. That's another Indian with the Rebbe Rada. Kol Dechach Dei was different targets. Usually Kol Dechach Dei could be Keichel Pel Benifal. A Yid Zed Vel, there's Zed, what's the Mitzvahs? As in how going from the Meibishter. The regular Kol Dechach Dei doesn't bring out what the Rebbe is saying here. Kol Dechach Dei just means there's one way of using everything for the Eibush, one way single Lukus and everything. But how do you see Lukus and everything? So because you could look at everything as a Keli de Kabbalah. You could see every mitzvah as a Keli de Kabbalah to Lukus. Here the Rebbe is saying the Gashmi Atzmi. Not als Keli de Kabbalah. The Gashmi Alein. Different Indian.
Why is there an Aveda there of Tachtenim?
We'll see the Prat. We'll see the Prat yet. This doesn't exclude other. No. This is an important point, but also the beer, the fizeh, the beer, how the etzem is pearl has to be a whole different beer. You can't just say that because he's blik vol, he's going to be reached everywhere. That's not going to help. He's blik vol, so you can find his Inyan even in a further place. That's not what then it's again to be the tachlim is a keli kabbalah. You get to put the Nekudas Advarim. Good, let this mamshas. We'll continue with Sunday. And then give us the
the first idea.
No, I'm saying that. I'm saying.
So prepare him.
What they're saying here. We'll have to see what the pshat is.
So we think the Elam didn't have it built.
Nicht das sein. Darf nicht so durchtragen.
We have to bring not just to give us shit.
But the Rebbe wrote around the Maamar, the Sicher Shabbos, when the Rebbe came out to Shabbos Vayeshev, Tafshin Abayz, the Rebbe read this Indian also by the Fabringen. that whatever, using out the tchunas of the place that you go. The Rebbe spoke tzarfas b'gematria parasta. Not that bring to parasta zu tzarfas. Tzarfas alin b'gematria parasta. The Rebbe spoke by Amshad Risi. Not that what's tzarfas? Same words as parasta. It's not that you say Paris is a place that we could bring a higher Inyan that should be nisgalu through there. Look at it itself. What's it itself? It itself is that. But we'll see the prat. That's not just a person. It's the prat advar.